Welcome to the Created Worthy podcast. I'm your host, Danielle Damrell, and I am so grateful that you're here. On this show, I talk about creative processing and how to utilize it as a skill to bring peace, joy, and freedom into our chaotic lives. I also sit down with the most incredible guests as they share their stories, many of which for the very first time. We are all created worthy. Hello, welcome back to the Created Worthy podcast. Today, I am with a very special guest. If you have listened to all of the episodes of this podcast, you've heard from her twice before. She is my editor, my best friend, and my human support. Wait, what is it called? Emotional support human. There we go. Welcome to the show, Morgan. Today, we are going to talk about processing shame. And, okay, I didn't introduce you for real, so here we go. Morgan, welcome back to Created Worthy.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here again for the 100th time. I must be your favorite, right?
I mean, according to your episode count.
Kidding. I'm just kidding, everybody. I'm very sarcastic. I think this is the third time actually officially being on your podcast, which is weird because I am your editor. I edit every single episode, so I feel like I'm on every episode because, yeah, I get to hear all the ins and outs. But no, hi, everybody that's been on Created Worthy. I get to listen to all your stories personally and privately before everybody else gets to hear them, so don't feel awkward at all.
No, don't feel awkward.
I get to hear all the mistakes, all the coughs, everything, and don't worry about it. I'm not judging.
She is not judging. And that is why I have chosen to stay with Morgan and to, she has been the backbone behind Created Worthy for real. She takes the time to really edit and listen to every story that comes in so that when guests are on and they are sharing a lot of them for the very first time, I can always reassure them, if you say anything that you are not ready to share, you can just say, hey, Morgan, take that out. And she will do that. Yeah. So she makes this a very protected space to share your story. And I'm so grateful for that.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, I would never, when it comes down to me editing a podcast, yours specifically, Danielle, it's like these people are being very vulnerable. That used to be a hard word for us, remember?
Yeah, that was really hard. Where was that?
Practice it. Vulnerability. Vulnerability.
Vulnerability. And then the only way I could say it normally was if I screamed it like this. I'll do it away from the mic. Vulnerability. Okay, I know. It's very weird, but you know what you do? You do have to do warm-ups for podcasting, okay? If you want to be able to speak clearly, you have to do warm-ups, and you have to practice words that are just hard.
I love the warm-ups, too. I love hearing the warm-ups. It, makes me giggle. It makes me smile. It's fun, and I save those little pieces to hopefully put together for later. Yes. But yeah, people come on here for the first time and share their stories. Maybe not the first time, maybe so, but it's hard. We've done podcasting together now for over a year, going on 2 years. And even us sitting down and telling our stories on the microphone, even though we're best friends, we know each other's lives, we know each other's backstories, we know pretty much everything there is to know about each other, but sitting down and recording it on a microphone, knowing that is eventually going to be put out for everybody and anybody to listen to, it could be very overwhelming. And that's why when it comes down to editing your podcast, I'm very careful, and I would never put something out that I wouldn't like the way that it sounds, or I think it kind of came out the wrong way and maybe people aren't going to understand it the way I'm meaning it. And so I have that mindset when I edit your podcast for them. Oh, they kind of said that backwards, or, oh, they already repeated that before and they're kind of just repeating themselves, so I'm going to take that out. Or, just I want it to be something that you guys are proud to hear as well, because it's your story, and it could be something that's very sensitive to you, or it could be something that you're super nervous about. So it's like, yeah, no judgment over here. I joke around all day long.
judgment.
I have like horrible sarcasm. It's like my first language is sarcasm, and I always like to joke off my my emotions and my issues that I have in life. I just tell a little joke about it, but honestly, like listening to everybody's story, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's beautiful. I think what you've done with this podcast is beautiful, and all of your guests are so different yet connect in so many different ways. It's just awesome. It really is awesome. So thank you for letting me be a guest for a third time. I'm nothing special.
Honored.
I'm just the editor, but I'm honored.
You are more than special. You better shut your mouth right now. Oh my goodness.
I know.
Okay.
I'm actually like one of the best, but whatever.
Yeah. Self-proclaimed God's favorite.
Yeah. That's favorite
And
child over
okay,
here.
actually one thing I would really love for you to share, because I feel like this perfectly describes like what you do with your work as like a digital editor. Can you read your Instagram bio?
My Instagram bio. Yeah. My Instagram bio on my business page, right?
Yes, which her business is Sina Sees on Instagram, Sina.sees, right?
It is Sina period C's. Yes. SENA period SEES.
It'll be in the show
And
notes.
it says in my bio, I am on a mission to help you be seen fully, heard clearly, and valued greatly.
And that is such a perfect description of what you do in your work with Created Worthy and all the podcasts that you edit. So,
Well, I'm glad.
yes. Okay.
It's my mission.
Well, thank you for sharing your passion, your mission, your heart, all of it. I love you. Okay, here's our love fest. And
We're making out over the microphone right now.
ew,
I love
no.
you so much.
That's half hood, half holy content, yo.
Oh my gosh, you know me. I have to bring the half hood over here.
I know you know what? Before, I was just going to jump right into what we came here to talk about, which is processing growth. But actually, I think this kind of applies. For those that don't know, Morgan hosts, I co-host a podcast called Half Hood, Half Holy. And that podcast is a roller coaster ride. It is a giant joke. It is Christian women who love Jesus. We love Jesus, and we're also like super sinners. Okay? And we're learning how to like harness that into comedy. Well, Morgan is just naturally that way. I have to like think about it more. She's just like a natural Christian comedian, or like comedian that loves Jesus. I guess that's probably a better way to phrase it. But anyway,
Yeah.
we have the most wild, pretty much R to X rated conversations on there for no other purpose other than to harness the gift of humor and laughter. But first season was not so much
honestly,
like that.
It's like, come on now, we're human. We are human. You know, I can't get that out of my head, especially when I start thinking about like my relationship with God. And, you know, I have a conscience. Like, I do feel guilt. Like, I don't just run around here thinking just because like I believe in God that I'm just automatically protected,
Right.
or like my mistakes don't matter because God's just gonna forgive me. Like, no, I do have guilt, I do whatever, but at the end of the day, we are human. We can't beat ourselves up about the fact that we're human.
Right.
There's
Grace
nothing
exists
we
for
can
a
do to
reason.
change it.
Right.
Exactly. And like, you know, what is so wrong with telling a joke or being funny or being a little nasty or being a little like, you know, like a little bullying, like friendly bullying that we do between like me, you, and Sam and our friend group. We were just talking about this the other day.
Gosh.
How we like lightly all bully each other, but it really does come from like a place of love, not like I hate you and I want to be mean to you.
No, for sure.
That's how I feel with Half Hood, Half Holy, is like, why are we not allowed to have that little lighthearted fun that maybe some people look at as like being crazy, weird, rude, obnoxious, like whatever they look at it as. Like, we're all just humans. And yeah, maybe I say things sometimes that people might take the wrong way, or it's not really that funny to you, but to me, I got a kick out of it. And like, I'm sorry that it offended you. I might have offended God too. I'm sorry, God. And then that's where it even comes in even more, because I catch myself instantly when I do something that I'm like, whoa, that might have been taken a little bit too far. And I'm immediately like, Jesus, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I apologize to Jesus before I apologize to anybody, just so you guys know.
Yeah. Facts.
God gets a sorry first before any of you. Just saying.
As it should be.
But yeah, it's just, I just want to have fun and just relax and just say what's on my mind. And sometimes I feel judged about the things that are in my mind, or the things that like I feel and think sometimes. Like, Danielle, you know my list of questions I have for God. Some of them are not appropriate, right? Like, but I genuinely, again, like, facts. I genuinely have these questions. Why am I not allowed to talk about it?
That's, yes. And that's like, I love that you took the reins, and like we, but mostly you, really grew that podcast into what it is. And obviously that's still growing, right? But when we started that podcast, like, we were both really nervous. And because like I knew I wanted to start a podcast later, and Half Hood, Half Holy was like, we were like, we can start one now and kind of get our feet in the water. And so at first we were like both so nervous. We like shared our stories, which like unnecessary, really looking back, like those really don't need to be on Half Hood, Half Holy. They're more created worthy style, right? But we haven't taken them down, because that, I think that something you brought up months ago was that is proof of our growth, right? And like stepping into our authority and what you feel called to share. And then I was like, no, you're right. Comedy and being funny and like just all things laughter, joy are a huge part of my life. Like, I have a very dumb sense of humor and I have a very tiny memory. So those
Danielle
things combined.
does not have a dumb sense of humor. Danielle is just funny without trying to be funny. That's what it is. Like, when somebody says something and you just like giggle at them and you're like, oh my gosh, you are so silly, or you're so dumb, you know? And it's like, it's because you're actually funny and you're not even trying to be. It's just how you talk, or who you are, or what you say. And it goes right over your head sometimes too. Yeah. I know. And you are genuinely funny. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, Danielle is so funny, and she literally is not trying. Like, she's not looking for a laugh. She's not trying to get a laugh. Like, she's just telling you a story, and she's just telling you, and that's funny.
That's story. And I like am notoriously bad at laughing at inappropriate moments, and like, especially if it's about myself. Like, if you're on my Instagram stories, you see it often, but I will talk about something that's like hard going on and like cannot stop smiling. I can't stop smiling now, and I'm literally just thinking about doing it. Like, it's so ridiculous. Okay. So here we are, two people. Morgan grew up with, can we say, more of a hood lifestyle, like in that culture? That's
fine. I'll accept that, I guess. I think it's two completely. I'm recording right now, so I need quiet. Get out, Titus. Sorry.
Titus always has to interrupt. He interrupts every time.
I know, every single time. Oh my gosh, that's so right. Every time we would record at your house, I'd be screaming at Titus at some point. Gosh, I'm such a good mom. Anyway.
Dog mom.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. You can say that. I don't necessarily view myself as coming from the hood or hood. I just think Northern Californians are just very, very different from people born and raised in Colorado natives. So I think there's just a culture difference.
So here's where I'm at with Half Hood, Half Holy. I just now am reflecting on this. But I think that with Half Hood, Half Holy, that title specifically, we've just come out of the gate and said we are stereotyping ourselves.
Yeah.
And really the purpose behind it is to show that there can be these polar opposite cultures or polar opposite like mindsets, whatever, personalities, and you can still be like such an integral, fun, life-giving part of somebody else's life, even with differences. And like the fact that Jesus is the thing that unifies us is a gift. Like that in itself is like,
major gift.
This dynamic we have is like a gift from God because we've both needed it in such different ways, but drastic ways that have really helped us grow and continue to grow. So yeah, that's Half Hood, Half Holy. And if you want to tune in, it's on all platforms. We release episodes sporadically. And that's because like Half Hood, Half Holy goes with our lives. Morgan's life more specifically. And that is good.
My life
That's her podcast.
My life has been crazy this year so far. I was just telling Danielle, I can't even remember the last time I was on her podcast and what we like specifically talked about. I mean, I know we talked about like you coming back to Half Hood, Half Holy, but I don't know if I talked about where I was at specifically in my life and what I was doing at that time. And I think my life is completely different now. Like the stuff that I have going on now is completely different. Like I have 3 different jobs. I've been working 3 different jobs for the entire year so far since January. I edit a couple of different podcasts. I work at a hotel doing banquets part-time, and I nanny for a very sweet family that I love so, so much. And yeah, my life is busy. So any kind of free time I get, I really, really take the opportunity to focus on myself and my relationship with God and really take me time, because I'm definitely like, I've learned in this season of working so many jobs that it's very crucial for me to have downtime. Like I'm not the type
self-care.
of person that can just run and just never like just keep going. I always thought I was that type of person because I feel like I kind of am like a natural born hustler. Like I love making money and I love figuring out new ways to make money, and I'm not scared of making money, and I will jump out there at any opportunity to make money. But I need a break.
Yes.
I need a break, and I need to remember that I need breaks, because that's when I start shifting mentally in a way that is not healthy.
Right.
So in my downtime, I just want a break. I just want to lay in my bed, relax, maybe take a long bath, put on a TV show I haven't watched in a long time, scroll on my phone for hours if I feel like it. I just need me time. And that's why Half Hood, Half Holy gets kind of put on the back burner majority of the time, because it's just not my main focus right this minute. And I need to make sure that I'm good mentally and physically before I hurt myself,
For sure.
But
you still have you've still worked on it occasionally from here. And I think that's great. And actually, I think that also can kind of transition into how taking that time to do self-care and to just pour into yourself and to be okay, to just be a human being, is what has allowed you to consistently grow. Have you still had setbacks in the midst? Yeah. Have you still had times where we have mental breakdowns? 100%, right? But consistently you've put one step in front of another. And in this last year and a half, almost 2 years, you've come so freaking far. So I would love to know from you, your perspective, and maybe the key ways you did this, but how you consistently keep moving forward, even though there have been things that have not been stable over the last 2+ years. What have you done that has helped you to grow?
Well, first and foremost, for sure, the thing that pops into my head and heart is like, God, I've really strengthened my relationship with God again. I know, like, we've talked about this before, how I go back and forth so much of like having a really, really close relationship with God and leaning on Him and praying every day and, you know, reading His word and just feeling His love. And then there's times where I fall away from that and I don't spend very much time with God and I don't talk to Him and I don't read His word and I feel lost and lonely and dark. And I feel like I have made it a big point when I start getting set back in life to be like, okay, we need to pray. Like that's like what I need to do first before I do anything. And I don't know if it's just my own self-conscious or if it's literally God knocking on my heart and being like, hello, I'm right here. I can feel you getting heavy. Can you put some of that on me? Like, you know, so I don't know what it is, but for sure, God has saved me so many times this year. I can't tell you how many times I've sat here, you know, how many times I've sat here and been like, I don't know how I'm going to pay this. I don't know how I'm going to afford this. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do. And then all of a sudden it just happens and it just works out. And I'm like, that was God. Like there's no other way it could have worked out unless it was God. You know what I mean? So for sure, God. And I think the second thing too is something that I told my cousin earlier today was like, yeah, I had to learn how to not focus on setbacks and falling down, because no matter what, we're going to fall down. We're never going to go through life without having something happen, something bad, something negative, something that wasn't the way that you were expecting it to go. It's always going to happen for the rest of our lives. Don't focus so much on the fact that you're falling down or you have fallen down. It's the getting back up that's the hard part, and that you need to focus on. How to stand back up gracefully and with your head held high. It's not about falling down. You can't focus on the falling down. It's, okay, what do we do in a healthy way to stand back up? And
Preach, girl,
I've had to learn that the hard way this year for sure, because I was caught in that mindset of like, why does this always happen to me? Why do bad things always happen to me? I feel like I'm doing good. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm praying. I'm doing all these things. And it's just not like, there's always something. But that's life. There is always going to be something. It's not about that something happening and knocking you down. It's about how you deal with it and how you stand up to it. So that's also been a big thing for me this year.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Like, I have full body chills. Holy Spirit goosebumps have filled my body, have filled this room, because that was amazing. Yes. Oh my gosh, so much. I'm like processing it myself.
I know. And honestly, like, sometimes I just feel like the Lord really does speak through me. And then when He speaks through me, I'm like, oh yeah, like that totally is, it's for me too.
Yes, that is, I think you are a verbal processor in some ways, like not quite to the extent I am, but you are. And like when you open your mouth, you speak so much life. Like, yes, do we like say stupid things and like minorly for fun out of love, bully Sam? Yes. But you know what? It is reciprocated, first of all. And second, that's only a small part of what you do and like what comes out of your mouth, and it's like a clear indicator of your heart. And that is actually, for me, one of the biggest things that has helped me grow is having a friend like Morgan who straight up calls me out. Like, I'm spiraling, or I'm treating my kid like poop, or I snapped at my husband for no reason, and she and my other friends will be like, check yourself. Check yourself. And for me, I need that. Like, that's been pivotal to my growth. That's been pivotal to like how God has carried me through seasons that were really hard, full of trials. Because that's something that like I've continued to go through in different ways all throughout my life. Is just like and as everyone else does, trial after trial after trial. And sometimes there's like multiple at one time. And so it's easy for us to lose our footing in our faith, in our lives, with our husbands, in whatever way. It's one of the reasons why creative processing has also been such a huge part of growth for me, is because I have to have that time to like slow down when trials keep coming. And to say, no matter what, like what you were saying, like I'm going to focus on looking forward and moving forward and getting back up more than I'm going to focus on being torn down or falling or whatever. Sometimes we have to take that time
Which I am so proud of you, Danielle. You have like, I've seen the growth in you too. I know we don't talk about it all the time, but we're always like our biggest cheerleaders with each other. But you have like, you've grown a lot too. And just in, you know, the past few months, and even the way that you take constructive criticism and you like genuinely listen to it and like don't get offended, which I feel like I'm still the type of person that when somebody gives me constructive criticism, I'm like, wait a second,
check yourself.
Maybe I said it the wrong way, because in my mind it's like the best idea ever, so I don't know what you're talking about. But
well, and that's kind of the difference between an Enneagram 8 and an Enneagram 4, so let's just yeah. Morgan's an 8.
Thank you.
She's
Thank you for giving
me
excuses.
Yes, she's an 8 through and through. No. But I know that about you. Like I know that if I'm going to present you with constructive criticism, like I have to do it. I literally like will ask you straight up before we even start talking about it. Like, do you want me to just listen, or do you want me to like tell you my thoughts, my like advice? And a lot of times I feel like in a roundabout way you tell me to just listen, and I'm like, okay, that's great. Like at least I know I can.
Sometimes I just want somebody to listen and not disagree with me or not tell me how I can fix it, because majority of the time I do know how to fix it. I just want to be angry right now.
Right.
I just want to be angry. I don't want to talk about fixing it. I just want to be angry, and I want somebody to hear it.
We're women. We have hormones.
Right?
That too.
But no, honestly, for real, you have like, you have so surpassed me on that, at least, because
Stop.
I can just I see it. We talk all the time, every day on FaceTime. I see how you interact with your daughter, how you interact with your husband, how you interact with other friends, how you interact in our friend group. Like I've felt so much like compassion from you lately, and I feel like it's coming from a place of like healing. Like you are truly healing yourself and working on healing yourself, and it shows in your attitude and how you treat people, and it always inspires me. Like I always tell you, you inspire me all the time.
I love you. I'm so grateful.
I love you.
Okay, so just to recap the 4 ways that we talked about how we have grown in the last few years, or the things that have helped us. Morgan, do you want to go ahead and start with your 2?
Yes. First being God, for sure. Keep God close to you guys. Lean on him. When you're feeling sad, frustrated, angry, life has no meaning, anything, just talk to God about it. He'll listen. He'll help. I am proof of that. I never used to feel that way, but for sure, leaning on God it's been the best thing for me. And not focusing on getting knocked down, but focusing on standing back up. That is the most important part of going through trials in your life. Don't focus on the setback. Focus on how you're going to slingshot forward.
Woohoo! Talk about quotes of the day. So yes, I love those. My 2 were find a friend or somebody, a mentor, accountability partner, somebody who you know will be honest with you and will call you out when your heart's going a little astray or your mindset isn't straight. Or if you're like Morgan, just make sure that you have relationships in your life where people can check you, but also people will listen. And you know and you trust that. And they're not going to let you get too far before they check you, because that is no doubt something that we have had. Morgan and I have like gone through that.
Yes.
And then the second thing, which I briefly talked about, is creative processing. Obviously, I've talked a lot on here about that. Everybody has their own ways of utilizing that as a skill and strengthening it as a skill. And I believe that if you set your intention and activate your creative mind in that intention, that you will process and you will feel better. And that has been true for me. It's been true for Morgan. It's been true for anybody who has done a time where they set an intention and they just create. You feel more clarity. You feel better. And that has helped so much in my growth as well. And therapy. I know that's like a side, I didn't mention that, but seriously, therapy.
Yeah, come on, guys. Don't let us fool you. We be talking to counselors, okay?
Yeah, we need them. We are so grateful for therapy and mental health professionals because sometimes, our brains get a little wild and we need somebody professional to reel us back into reality. So that's also important.
Exactly. Like I always say is, yes, I have a very close relationship with God and I talk to him and lean on him, but sometimes it does get hard when he doesn't always respond directly back to you, like you're not having a conversation with him. And sometimes you need that, and that's fine. That's why it should be from somebody who loves you, has the best interest for you, or somebody who is a professional.
Amen. Well, I think we have reached the end of this show, and this has been really fun. I'm so glad that we ended up doing this. I had a last-minute guest cancellation, so we ended up just jumping on together, and this was unscripted again. So that's another sign of growth, right? Okay? Because my mind's like spinning in a million different directions.
We've got this in the bag now. We are professional podcasters. I don't even
This
care.
is episode 39, but I've actually recorded way more than that.
Ooh.
I mean, kind of. It's complicated, okay? So, but, okay, this was, sorry. This was so much fun, and I hope that you guys got some encouragement out of this. And we are going to end this episode with a half hood, half holy style prayer, because pretty much every time we record together, like we just like to pray together when we're on the microphone, because we have a gift here that we need to like be grateful for. So
yes.
Morgan, do you want to do the honors of praying us out?
All right, let's do it.
You got this.
I got to get myself together before I talk to God.
Yeah.
Okay. Dear Jesus, we are so grateful for you, for life, for this platform, for our friendship, for our listeners, everything. I am beyond grateful for mine and Danielle's relationship, and you know that. I have thanked you so many times for it. Yes, and I'm glad that we love each other and support each other and can really be true sisters without, that weird blood sister stuff where we like fight like cats and dogs. I'm glad it's not like that.
No blood drama.
No. And I pray that you continue to bless our lives, because I feel blessed every day just having a relationship with you, but continue to bless us. Bless Danielle's entire family. Bless all of our listeners. Bless my family. I hope that you have a great day.
Yes.
And I know that you are blessed, because how could you not be? I mean,
source of holiness.
Hello. Thank you for loving us. Oh my gosh, thank you for loving us. Mm-hmm. I can't believe it sometimes. I'm like, there really is somebody out there that just loves me. It feels good. So thank you for that, God. And thank you for always listening. I know I don't pray properly. You can hear me now. It doesn't sound that great, but you know my heart, and I am so grateful for that, because even though I pray like this, my prayers are still answered, and you continue to bless me. So I know that you know my heart. And I thank you so much for that. And please bless Danielle and guide her in all of her journeys. And thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we love you.
We love you Amen. So much. Have a good day. Amen. In Jesus' name. Oh, all right. well, bye.
Bye, everyone. Love you guys.
Thank you so much for listening to the Created Worthy podcast. If you want to connect more, you can follow along with me over at Danielle Damrell or Damrell Creative Co. on Instagram and Facebook. All the links to today's topics are in the show notes, and you can also find a link to my Patreon, which is where you can help support my mission on this show and keep it going. Ratings and reviews really do matter, so make sure to hook me up with 5-star review. Any less, I would rather hear your opinions over email. So anyway, if this episode resonated with you at all, share the love, send it to a friend, or post it on your social media. But don't forget to tag me so I see it and can share it too. I hope all of you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you on the flip side.